And what is the deal with all of these busloads of illegal immigrants showing up in California to unsuspecting communities whose residents suddenly discover it's now their problem? They don't like it. And apparently neither do a lot of you. Sicily emails, close the border, no amnesty, send them back to where they came from. So glad to see Americans in California sticking up for we the people. Stacy via Cox.net, bust them to Vermont and you will start hearing some noise. Then Robert doesn't like the way this is being called an immigration threat. They are not immigrants. They are illegal aliens. Immigrants come here to live and prosper. My solution is simple. Put them on planes and send them to Washington, D.C. Maria via Comcast, immigrants should be bused to the White House. Lots of space there. Tina emails, put them on the South Lawn. The White House even has a fence around it, so they must know a thing or two about the wisdom of having a fence, period. Alexandra in Rhode Island, this is a well-planned, albeit illicit operation. Obama knows that, and he knows what he's doing, and his long-term goal is to create chaos and then take charge of it. Never let a crisis go to waste. Don via Gmail. All of these illegal aliens come into the U.S. and get free medical treatment, but our veterans can't get treatment. This is so wrong. It's a very good point, Don. Rick emails, send them back where they came from. They are not our problem. Carol in Michigan. Neal, if the buses go north, they can also go south. Send these illegals back. Patrick via Hotmail. I hate that these women and children have nowhere to go. However, the federal government is forgetting this is an illegal act. Maybe they should hold these people as accountable as they do U.S. citizens. Tony in Florida. This is all an attempt to give those immigrant children some sort of legal status so that in the future the Democrats can bring in their parents, relatives, etc., and give them U.S. citizenship and more votes. Lawrence via Gmail. As Sheriff Arpaio stated, he releases them and they keep coming back. The only thing that is going to stop illegals from entering the USA is killing them and stacking their corpses on the Mexican side of the borderline. Well, I don't think we're at that point, but I suspect what the sheriff was advocating was something a tad different, working with Mexican authorities, who he says we've not even been reaching out to. Bruce in Maine favors such an approach. Sheriff Joe Arpaio is correct. The U.S. government should go to Mexico City and begin a joint effort to control our borders. What is the big deal? The U.S. government goes halfway around the world to work with the governments in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, and Iraq to give them military support to protect their borders. Why not Mexico? That's an excellent point, Bruce. Why not Mexico? Russ via Verizon. Neal, I agree with Sheriff Arpaio. It has been the president's plan all along. Ruby via Verizon.net. Neal, I can't understand why the border agents and customs don't stop these buses full of illegals at the border and then turn them around. Why are buses allowed to even cross the border? Well, believe it or not, Ruby, and you have to take them at their word, they say they miss these buses. They don't see them until it's too late. I know, big buses, they say they miss them. Sharon in Louisiana. What does Washington not understand about the word illegal? If the current administration is so ignorant that they don't understand the meaning, then they need to be replaced by individuals who do. Carol in South Carolina. As a former hospital administrator, I have a great fear that we are dispersing children and other illegals throughout our country who have not been medically screened for typhus, cholera, and other potentially devastating illnesses that could once again get a foothold in the U.S. Jim in South Carolina. Neal, as the man said on tape, I'm expected to obey the law. Why don't the illegals and why doesn't the government have to obey the law? Excellent points, both. Allison via AOL. I think that if you or I were to try to get into another country illegally, more than likely we would be shot. More than likely, Allison, I think you're right. Even in France. In fact, in France, they do shoot you. Go figure. Rick via Gmail. Why can't you learn how to shut up and listen? You constantly interrupt your guests. Very irritating. Now, Rick had other things to complain about, but I just deleted the rest of the email because I was hungry and I couldn't deal. Carla emails, you sound callous to me. Carla, you sound clueless to me. Steve via Comcast, what if we turned your parents away at Ellis Island? You seem to have a double standard on immigrants. No, Steve, just illegal immigrants. My parents went through a process, and a very laborious process. If everyone barged into your house for dinner, let's say thousands just banged at your door, would you feed them all? Cameron writes, I don't know about you, Cavuto, but I'm a Christian and believe in helping my fellow man. So am I, Cameron, but not at the expense of all legal men and women. Calavon emails, life is unfair. You're a bombastic charlatan who's regrettably a citizen. Caliban, you're a bombastic charlatan who's regrettably a citizen, too. Like you said, life's unfair. Doubly unfair to me is that you watch this show. Stop it. Pam via Yahoo, you strike me as a rude, pompous jerk, and you're fat, too. I am not fat. Joan in Biloxi, Cavuto rhymes with zero. No, it doesn't, Joan. Cavuto, zero, it doesn't. Say it a few times. Maybe you're drunk and you just slobber the words together, as you no doubt were typing them together, but they don't. That'll do it here. See you tomorrow.